I'm back. At last. I got an interesting game to play. Got an arcade game. Again. Been doing that a lot recently. One moment, I've got a reveal I need to show. Really? Thanks. Error saving. Why? Thank you. It actually saved. What do you know? Alright. I got something. I don't know how well you can see it. Let me see how it shows up. Yep, that is real. The real deal. The Maverick logo for Mega Man. Mega Man X specifically. As a Mega Man fan, I should know. How would I mess that up? I just did. First tattoo, actually. And it really wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad at all. It stung a lot, but it didn't hurt. Let's see. There's a continue option? I remember playing this one at Pizza Hut. Of all places. Back in the day, man. When Pizza Hut looked like a cavern. Remember that shit? When it was like the... What was it? I'm trying to think how to describe it. What was it? It was like the... It had the, like... It would, like, round up to a point on top of the roof. It looks like a freaking cavern. It didn't look like what it looks like now, like the more modern version. Django, quit throwing up all the damn time. Shit. What is your problem? Damn it. And I remember playing this quite a bit at the arcade at the Pizza Hut before they tore it down and renovated it. Those bastards. I miss the old look of Pizza Hut, honestly. I really enjoyed it. What was the problem? I mean, you gotta go for a more modern look, I guess. I miss certain things about, you know, that time period. The way things looked, how they felt. That's definitely one of them. The old version of the Pizza Hut. Did anybody ever learn that children's song, McDonald's and Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken? Now that was funny. Because I remember recently somebody telling me that their kids learned that exact same song. I thought that was badass that they're still teaching that song. Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Pizza Hut. McDonald's, McDonald's. You gotta do the little hand gestures. I got this. There we go. This ought to be good. Oh, shit. Yeah, this is one of the many games that I used to play at Pizza Hut. But I played this one a lot. In particular, this one. Wow, I actually got it. Dang it. Ooh! We're going home. Nice. You gotta be kidding me. That was a trap. Dang it. I'll get this. It's coming together. Haha. I wonder how far it goes. I wonder how many rounds there are. Shit. Man, and there's a fucking time limit too, isn't there? Sons of bitches. Nice! I didn't know that happened. Hang on. And that's a wrap. This feels like a Genesis game. It really does. Speaking of Genesis, I will play some Genesis games. I apologize for people who were raised on the Nintendo diet. I wish I had more Genesis games. I just don't. I think I'll play Earthworm Jim. If I'm gonna play any game, that's probably a decent one to start out with. I've played Castlevania Bloodlines, I just haven't... I don't own that many Genesis games. And the Genesis games I own, I'm not probably ever going to stream for the most part. You know, I've got a few. Just... eh. I was never a Genesis person. I grew up on Nintendo, and I will die with Nintendo as well. I knew people who had Genesis, Genocide. But I just never had one. It took me until 2014 to own a Genesis. 2014. Like, that's crazy. And at least the one I got came with a lot of games. Ooh, this is fun. Word? I actually hit it. Oh, boy. Shit! I just ruined that. Damn it. You sons of bitches. Good. Now I got some space. That's a tough angle. That's better. And that's a wrap. The Genesis games that I own, let's think. So I have Bloodlines, I've played it. I own a lot of sports games. The one I got came with sports games aplenty. What the fuck was that? What? Let's see. I got Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 on Genesis. I've already streamed those games, but I haven't streamed the Genesis versions. Let's think. What else do I own? I'm having a hard time drawing what I own for Genesis. That's how much I don't care for the most part. Not to shit on Genesis, I just never grew up with it, you know? I don't have the emotional attachment. I don't have that, like, pre-teen, pre-adolescence, pre-whatever connection, emotional attachment, if you will, to Genesis. Like, obviously... Whoa! What the fuck just happened? Yes! Like, obviously, for my first tattoo, I'm gonna get something that's pretty personal for me. Which, it made sense to get the Maverick logo, because, fuck, I mean, it's my favorite game. But Genesis just never resonated with me. It really doesn't now. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's great games for it. But... God, the Nintendo games, the Super Nintendo games just can't be beat. Period. Those games will forever be better. Fuck. Oh, Battletoads. I own Battletoads. Yeah, that's right. That's one thing I do own. Battletoads. Virtua Fighter 2. Yes, that's one I own. Don't own the first. I'm pretty sure that's a 32X game. Now it's getting a little complicated. Dang it. Of course. You assholes! I'm boxed in, aren't I? You motherfuckers. I'm dead. So dead. I need a good hand here soon. You sons of bitches. I can't go anywhere else with it. Okay, now it's starting to become okay. I can do this. Pretty sure that's about all I can think of off the top of my head. I maybe own 15 Genesis games. That's really about it. Shit. It's not much. I don't own Toe Jam and Earl, so don't ask. Toe Jam and Earl. I should own Toe Jam and Earl. I might eventually get to that. I don't know. You know, it's not high on my priority list. Maybe one of these days. There's so many other games I want to stream first. And it's over. Whew, that was close. Streets of Rage. I need to own that. Beat 'em up games are awesome. How could you not? I think that's a perfect one to own. I just don't have it. There's so many games I don't have. It's like hard to believe. Like, how could there be so many fucking video games? How could anybody keep up anymore? Like, think about this. When our kids have grandkids, or not grandkids, but when we have grandkids, how in the holy hell are the grandkids gonna have any chance of playing these games anymore? They're gonna be so bogged down by... They're backdated by so much. Like, think about it. Like, we're the first generation that really played really played video games extensively, and it was like a big part of our lives. Or maybe the generation before us. I'm a I guess you could say Generation Y is my generation. Generation X, I mean, they had video games, but not to the extent... Like, I feel like Generation X had video games, but a lot of the video games that came out that were, like, Super Nintendo and stuff, it was like, you know, when they were in their 20s. As kids, I think we were probably the first generation that, like, from start to finish, from our entire lives, for the most part, we had video games in our lives, and it was like a big deal, and it was a big part of who we were. Don't get me wrong, I mean, Generation X had theirs, you know. I just feel like my generation just had such a great deal more invested in video games. I mean, you had Atari, of course. I guess you could... If you had an Atari growing up, but I don't know. I don't know how people feel about it. I just feel like for my generation, it's like we were really the first to have that be a big deal in our lives. from start to finish. I feel like video games hit their stride when I was a kid, more or less. That's probably what I'm trying to say, is like, I feel like video games really hit their stride when I was a kid. And I'm fucked. Yeah, I'm gonna continue. Yeah, why wasn't that there before, dumbass? All the best video games, you gotta think about this. I would say for the most part, I mean, NES had a lot of great games. I feel like the best video games came out after the NES. I mean, think about it. A lot of the NES games, they're good, but they have a lot of faults. I mean, I've played quite a few on here already where I've raged and been so pissed off at those games that, like, it aggravates me to think about it. Like, how could people really think the NES was better than the SNES? That's hard for me to comprehend. The NES was groundbreaking, but the SNES just kicks its ass in every way. Like, it's just hard for me to buy that. Like, people really think that the SNES is inferior somehow. It's like I said when I went back to my point about video games being a big part of our lives and everything. I feel like video games just really got it together right around the time of my childhood. I could be blowing smoke out of my ass. Maybe Generation X thinks video games were a big part of their life. But for me, it was just like, that was it. You know, video games were my life for a lot of my childhood. That's a wrap. Really? We're gonna play this fucking game? You assholes. Really? Thank you. Damn it. Sons of bitches. I should reiterate, or backtrack to my comment. Man, I feel really stupid now. I've just totally forgot the angry video game nerd's a Generation Xer. What the fuck? Why did I even say that? I mean, maybe that was all I was trying to say, was I feel like video games just really got their shit together, and my generation took video games so seriously and made it a part of their lives. Like, what am I trying to think. So I just feel like kids my age that have had kids, they still value video games a lot more than certain people do. Like, the few Generation Xers I'm friends with, I'm sure they played video games as kids. But they don't anymore, for the most part. The ones that I know. That could be different for everybody else, but I feel like the kids my age, they still fucking love video games even now. Like, they're gonna pass it on to their kids. I just feel like we were the first generation to take video games very seriously. Like, it became such a vital part of our childhood. I mean, we all played video games at some point. But we were the ones that really took it to the next step. And made it integral. Well, that was fucking easy. What the fuck? 8 seconds. Alright. And it's the same fucking music. What the hell? This music has no variety. What the fuck am I listening to? All this reminds me of is Little Mermaid. You know what I'm talking about. Under the sea! Under the sea! Oh, this is a trip. Now you're fucking with me. Now the background is fucking with me. What the hell? This is weird. The background is... It's like being... You know that scene from that 70s show? Where, they're high and, like, the parents are talking to them and they don't know they're high. And, like, the background is floating behind them. And it's, like, moving. That's what it reminds me of right now, is that 70s show. Totally. That 70s show is a great show, by the way. If you've never watched it, you've really missed out. It's one of my favorite shows. I actually just got done watching it again. And, I mean... I would say other than... Shit, I'm ruining this. What the fuck? Damn it. Sons of bitches. I wrecked that. I would say other than the first half of Season 8, the show is really enjoyable. Let's think. So, what would I say is the best season of that 70s show? Man, Season 5 is funny from start to finish. I mean, the first 5 seasons are all great. Let's not forget. I mean, really, Season 6 is pretty good, too. I just got burnt out on it. Like, I stopped caring after the wedding shit. Like, it really was like, I just couldn't invest myself in it anymore. Season 7's alright. I just, you know, you get burnt out. You watch the same shit over and over again. You're tired of it. Happens with any show, except for Big Bang Theory, apparently. Apparently nobody gets tired of that. I don't know how. And for those that, you know, might say, oh, well, you need to watch Big Bang Theory. Probably not. I'll probably pass on that. I don't think I'm going to. And I wrecked that. That just seems so daunting to watch 13 seasons of a show. Like, I would love to watch South Park, but it's just too much. It's too far into the rabbit hole for me to catch up. But yeah, that 70s show is a classic show. I mean, the first 5 seasons are all amazing. So many great lines, so many great characters, so many great moments. Where I think they went wrong with that 70s show was just the fact, well, Topher Grace leaving was definitely a big factor in why it flopped afterwards. I just think they should have held off on them graduating high school. That's all I'm saying. If they would have just waited until the end for them to graduate, I think it could have been a lot better. I think that was a big factor in why it really creatively they couldn't figure it out going forward. I just feel like that was a big reason why it couldn't last after that. Topher Grace leaving, Ashton Kutcher leaving was definitely another factor. And really, they were just getting old, you know? It was just time. I think it was just time. They had gone as far as they could. There was nothing left to do. I mean, they were just, you know, it had been 8 years of them basically being stuck in high school. And then, you know, maybe a year after high school. I think, too, another thing that really hurt it was just the fact that they started so far into the 70s that they had to constantly keep, like, recycling that same floating timeline of, like, you know, it started in 1976, right? So, you know, as the show kept going, you know, it became a problem for time. Storytelling-wise, it just didn't add up, you know. They were spending all that time in the 70s, but technically, the show occurs over, like, 3 years, which is really weird if you think about it. But I can understand from a writing perspective why they did that. One, they didn't think the show was going to last. And two, you know, you got to go into a point in the 70s where, you know, you're firmly established with what's going on with the culture and politics and the times and the recession and all that. I get it. But it would have been cool to, like, start in, like, 1972 or something, you know. Maybe when they're a little bit younger, you know, maybe, I don't know. That part, to me, I think really hurt it later on, anyway. It didn't hurt early. It just hurt later on when, you know, you're trying to, like, explain how all these guys are still, like, it's only been, like, 2 years in time, and, you know, they're graduated high school, and, you know, they're still not, you know, out on their own for the most part. That floating timeline of just, like, the fact that it takes, like, 6 seasons for Eric to turn 18 is just weird. And... no! Are you fucking serious? I had the angle all wrong on that. Son of a bitch. Oh my god, that background is fucking with me right now. Imagine if I was actually high. Like, how it would feel. I'd be, like, passed out right now. This is dizzying. Right. What other thoughts do I have on that 70 show? I think the best overall character development was Jackie. Absolutely Jackie. Jackie had the best character transitions. The rest of them kind of stayed the same. Maybe Eric, I think, changed a lot because of Donna. But that was like early on. You know, later on, he pretty much stayed the same. I can't really think of a whole lot his character did to really, like, change after season 2. I think he stayed pretty consistent. Oh yeah, I'm definitely losing this. This is not going well. It's going a little bit better now. Kelso is amazing. I was definitely high. I didn't smoke, but I would say I fit in with Hyde. Hyde and I would have been good friends. There's a great line in Bohemian Rhapsody about how, you know, we fit in with the outsiders when they're talking about their own music. And I think that was definitely the appeal of that 70s show for a lot of people, was people fit in with the outsiders. That's why that show is a success, because there's enough people to watch it that were like, yeah, we did all that shit. You know, we had parents like that, or we had friends like that, or, you know, there's enough of an outsider movement to make a show like that 70s show successful. I definitely think the best stuff later in the show's run was from Kitty and Red. I don't feel like the rest of the characters really did a whole lot that last season. I was definitely disinvested with it. Like, I didn't have any investment going on anymore. You get to a point in the show where you're like, just fucking end already. There was nothing left to do. That show had run its course. I think we were all ready to move on. And I just couldn't get into it anymore like I used to. But it was a great finale. They did a really good job with the finale, at least. I can at least say that. I guess you should expect me to talk about Randy because I'm talking about that 70s show. You know, the problem with Randy was it was Brett Harrison leaving. If he had never left, I'm absolutely positive Charlie would have been hilarious. And he would have been way better. I thought his character was awesome. For what little we saw, I think he was doing pretty good. Like, I could only imagine what they could have done to him. It would have been great. He's just as much of a bonehead as Eric was. So, like, to me, if he would have just stayed... I mean, what the fuck? He left that 70s show. He quit that 70s show for a show that didn't do anything. Because it was a lead role. Like, I'm sorry. I just... Man... There's certain times where you make the wrong move, and that was it. You know, he made the wrong move. He should have never left that show. It was a great character, because, like I said, he was just much of a bonehead as Eric. And he played it so good. For what little we got of Charlie, I bet the potential for Season 8 was there. I know they had to have been thinking, yeah, we're gonna be alright. And then, fucking, he left. Oh man, I gotta get some help! Thank you. It's about time. This music, man. Give me something new. Hey, Chally. Randy is not the fault of Josh Myers. Randy is the fault of bad writing and having to hurry up and develop a character that you don't really have a whole lot of time to really get to know first before you put him on paper. I think that's his biggest fault, by far, was the fact that he was rushed. That they had to hurry up and get it done so they could put him in. Because Brett Harrison left. I mean, what is Josh Myers supposed to do with that? He's only doing what he's told. You know, it's... A lot of it's just writing and direction. I don't even really know what his character is. Like, having watched this show as much as I have, what is Randy's character? I'm not even sure. He's supposed to be this cool version of Eric, I guess. I don't even know. Like, what is the character? It just doesn't work. Like, he's trying to be cool and dorky at the same time. That's the problem. That is the problem. He is cool and dorky at the same time. How the fuck does that work? I'm sorry. It's just... Pick a number and go with it, please. It's really not Josh Myers' fault. It really wasn't. I just think they were pigeonholed. I think they were forced to put in somebody that they really... Not that Josh Myers is a bad actor per se. I just think they didn't really want to have to do that, you know? I think Charlie was the perfect replacement. And I think they could have done great things with him. Now, how funny would it have been to see a character like Brett Harrison's character? Oh, fuck. Charlie. Why did I forget Charlie? I've just talked about him. see somebody like that lose their virginity in like a funny way. I don't know. You could have thought something up funny. Maybe not lose it to Donna, but would you have had him go with Donna in the last season? I wonder if that was actually a thing. Like, they were actually going to have that happen like they did with Randy and Donna. I can only imagine the way they could have fucked with Charlie and had him lose his virginity, and, you know, I'm sure they had a plan. Because like I said, he did good. I thought the character was going pretty good until he left. But I can only imagine how good it could have been if he had been there. I mean, they would have probably... I think you would have seen maybe something go on with Charlie and his dad versus Red. Like, somehow, maybe there'd be, like, some sort of dynamic there. I don't know what you could have done, but maybe he, like, stands up to Red at certain points because Red's teasing him a lot or something. I don't know. I mean, they already established that earlier in the later in the 7th season with him walking in on Kitty. There could have been some sort of feud going on there. I think that would have been funny as hell. He would have been the first non-Eric character to stand up to Red. Now that could have been funny. But yeah, Brett Harrison leaving just screwed it all up. That was the problem with that 70s show, Season 8. Randy is just not a good character because they didn't really have time to develop the character first. The pregame is real. They gotta have time to develop the character behind the scenes before they put it on paper, and it just did not work at all. It really flopped. I think they were crunched. I think they didn't have a choice. You know, they were put in a situation that it wasn't going to work. Man, this is getting complicated. What the fuck? I'm done. This is not... Let me think. What can I do? But yeah, the best stuff from Season 8 was definitely Kitty and Red. The last few episodes when they're wrapping everything up was really good. Bob standing up to Red was fucking hilarious. Some of the best moments of the show come at the end of the show. It's just not enough to, like, say, oh, these episodes are the best among the best of the entire series, per se. But the moments are definitely there. I love how Kitty and Red don't leave Point Place. I think that's great. I think they should have retired in Point Place. I think that was perfect. Fez and Jackie. A lot of people don't get it, but I get it. It's perfect sense. Are you kidding me? He chased her for the entire show. Pretty much. Other than the fact that he had a few girlfriends here and there, he pretty much went after the entire time. It makes sense. It's not just shoehorned in to, you know, have an ending for both of them. To me, that was a relationship pairing that actually made sense to me. And, like, Fez is really the only one that, you know, would treat her right in the end. Because Hyde wasn't doing shit with her. Kelso was always cheating on her. You know, it was just... I think their pairing made so much sense. And I don't see where the confusion is. I thought it was great. I thought it was great they got together, and it totally worked. I wonder what they'd be up to now if they were still alive. I think it'd be really cool to, like, do a snippet, that 80s show or something, or that 90s show. Well, they did they did that 80s show, and it was awful. Oh my god. Just watch that shit for like 2 seconds, you'll want to turn it off. Ugh. What they could have done to save that 80s show was, like, maybe if the show ended and then they kept going with that 80s show, maybe that could have worked. Maybe you show the characters, like, after the 70s. Instead of all these brand new characters that suck. You know? That shit is garbage. And I think the problem with that 80s show was timing. I think the timing was all wrong. And I just wrecked my chance. I could have ended it right there, and I messed up. It's alright. I got this. I think it was too soon to make it that 80s show at that time. I think what they did with the Goldbergs was good. I think the Goldbergs got the timing down properly for when it was time to do a show about that decade. Like, that 70s show came along at a time where it was the perfect time to talk about it. The Goldbergs came around right around that same time. Like, 20, 25 years is usually a good time to start talking about periods of time. If you're trying to do a show anyway, like, if you're doing a documentary, it doesn't really matter. But if you're talking about just doing, like, a show, like a period piece, that's enough time for, like, people to get away from it long enough to appreciate it and have historical context and be able to, you know, look back and objectively say what was great and what was not, and, you know, it's like why you can't vote for somebody immediately after they retire into, like, sports Hall of Fames. You gotta have time for it to breathe. You gotta have time for the times to pass. Oh, you son of a bitch. Like, I feel like if they did a 90s show of some sort here pretty soon, I think it could work. I think, it's been about 30 years. 25 to 30 years is a good time frame to wait to do a show. I think it's been long enough. I think if you did a show about the 90s, I think it could work. I just don't know what you would call it. The 90s were just such a good time. Like, there was, like, almost no adversity. You know, maybe you had a slight recession here and there. But I just don't remember the 90s being that bad at all. Like, what adversity was there in the 90s? I don't know enough about it. For all I could tell, it was fine, you know? I think all economies go through bad spells, but just doesn't seem like the 90s had that bad of a situation going on. Seems to me everything was fine. We've had worse economic situations, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Are you kidding me? Thank you. Hopefully UT will. I fucked up. And done. Now it's really starting to get complicated, isn't it? Let's see. How much more is there? Shit. This is intense. Let's think. Why do I think the 90s was awesome? I should reiterate. Every decade has their problems, of course. But, let's not forget, the Soviet Union fell in the 90s. All the best video games came out in the 90s, that's for damn sure. You know, you had pretty good economic prosperity. I just don't remember there being a time where, like, the economy was doing that badly. Maybe the job market wasn't good. I just don't think that the 90s really had a whole lot wrong with it, you know? It seemed like everything that came out in the 90s was, like, big time. Like, it was the beginning of the current age. Like, you had all the computers starting to come out. They were starting to refine things. You had the internet. You had great video games. You had great sports. I mean, think about this. The best time in baseball was 1998. If it weren't for the fucking steroids tainting its legacy, that was probably the most fun baseball year of all time. The home run race, man. It's still, like, even now, thinking back, that was just such a fun time to be alive. Watching McGuire and Sosa duke it out for the home run championship. I mean, it was just ridiculous. It was awesome to watch. Even if they were using roids, man, 70 home runs is still pretty damn hard. I mean, you got guys using roids now, but they're not hitting 70. Nice. A lot of my favorite baseball players played in the 90s too. I mean, I love watching guys today. But man, the 90s just had so many great baseball players. I mean, just look at all the numbers. Look at all the Hall of Famers that have come out of that era. It's incredible. They're consistently voting in 4 people every freaking year. It's crazy. Pause. Okay, this music's getting on my nerves. If you watch the whole time, I'm pretty sure it's getting on your nerves. Hmm. How many more are there? Jesus Christ. $100 levels. Okay. Didn't know that. Yeah, this is getting old. Well, thank you very much. 12 seconds. Oh, shit. What am I supposed to do here? What the fuck is this? Fuck me. All right. I think this is it for me. I'm just getting tired. This sucks. I can't keep expending my mind on this game. It's not a bad game. I really like this game. Just worn out. can't take it anymore. That's it. Ah, Judah, you walked in at the end. Okay, now I gotta keep going. Judah's here. Ah, I was literally about to walk away. I'm good. This game's wearing me out, though. Damn it! It is a good thing. Of course it is. Let's see. Now we got underwater shit. Now it really is under the sea. This music is so Little Mermaid. God, this same fucking theme the entire time. It's like Hong Kong 97 with Peking Tiananmen. God, this shit is annoying. I've had to listen to the same theme for like an hour or more. I've been busy too, man. I know the feeling. I'm starving. I really want something to eat. Oh, it's cool, man. We all got shit going on. Well, hope they're not bad things. And I'm dead. So dead. Yep. I'll give it one more shot. I can't lose anymore. Well, I hope everything is going okay with you, man. You don't have to tell me about it or anything, but... There we go. I haven't really had that much time to rest either, man. I've been trying to save my money and earn money on the side, so it's been a grind. I know how you feel. I get tired too. I've got a lunch date tomorrow. That's something positive. If I did take a vacation, it wouldn't be for another few weeks. Really depends, man. Damn it! And that's a wrap. Alright, I gotta go. And why is this not producing 40? Okay. Alright, I gotta go.